Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'd like to welcome you all to our Deal Clinic Live here, February the 15th. Hope you all had a happy Valentine's. I want to welcome our investors who are here live with us now in this moment, and also those of you that will join the replay. There will be snippets of our Deal Clinic Live going out to our other platforms such as Facebook and YouTube. So for those of you that have registered for the live, you'll receive the live full recording so that you can watch that on replay at your own convenience. Now, I do encourage interaction because it does actually help build trust, and it gives you the ability to see what's actually available through the deal with the agent that's looking after you on that. And it also helps build confidence with the natural building of the rapport. So please do feel free to drop any questions into the chat box or the Q&A box, as I'll be reading those as we go through and raising them with the relevant people here today. If you are watching on replay, then please do send your questions into admin@sourcinginvestments.co.uk. If you can see that I'm nearly giggling, it's because I can hear a dog really barking outside my window. So apologies if you can hear that. Now, if you're waiting to register to the platform, please do go to sourcinginvestments.co.uk/investor-registration. Now, it is with great pleasure that I introduce today's panel. I have with me Erin Samuels, who's from Spaces by Hexagon. We have Annetta and Charlie, who are our sourcing agents at One Step Ahead. And I have a power team member, Paul Adams, from Crowd Property. So first of all, we're going to go to Erin today. So Erin Samuels. So Erin's been with us has joined us since March last year, and he provides local services as well as the sourcing. He provides building teams and lettings and sales agents. Now, Erin's properties average around 17.8%. He's obviously fully compliant because he's on the platform. And his ethos is that he's hardworking and efficient to find the best deals to match the investor's needs. He works at finding you buy-to-lets, service accommodation, and HMOs. Now, without further ado, I'm actually going to show the video bio that you would have seen that went out in the marketing that you would have received. So bear with me while I do the tech support and actually share my screen. Bear with me. Okay. Here we go. So I hope you can see this. I'm going to have to turn the volume up and headphones first.
My name is Erin Samuels. I'm a passionate property investor and sourcer based in Liverpool. I've been covering Liverpool in the past 4 years, building strong relationships with local agents, auction houses, and property owners. I have the local knowledge to find great deals for myself and other investors. I've done a range of strategies from service accommodation, flips, buy-to-let, and HMOs. I'd love to help you find the perfect investment here in Liverpool.
Okay, perfect. So that was Erin's bio that you will have seen already. Erin, I'd love to hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. So shall I share my screen now to show the property I'm going to talk about?
Yes, please. Please do that. Thank you.
So thank you everyone for joining in. I'll tell you a little bit about me. My name is Erin Samuels. Buying and refurbishing properties has always been my dream. And for the last 4 years, it has been my career. I'm the founder and director of Spaces by Hexagon. And I've been an entrepreneur for more than 20 years. I began my business career by opening a clothing store in London Camden Market and started my property journey investing in buy-to-lets in London over a decade ago. I have a multicultural background. My father is British and my mother is American. As an adult, I've lived in the UK and Spain. I'm also a dedicated father to 2 young children. They inspire me to pursue my passion and they are my motivation to succeed. So as you've seen in the video, I'm based in Liverpool. Liverpool has been on the radar of many investors from the UK and overseas, as it offers great deals due to the still affordable property prices, just starting to catch up with many other areas in the UK in terms of capital growth. Liverpool have been leading the way with more than 10% growth in the last couple of years. So I'd like to give you a bit of an overview of Liverpool. The city is famous for the Mersey River and lies just north of it, while on the south side is the Wirral. The city center includes postcode L1, L2, and L3, and the main stock of houses there are flats, which usually are for the student markets to house the huge student population from nearby universities. If we go clockwise, the north of the city center is Bootle. It's the L20 postcode. Probably the cheapest properties are located in Bootle, which may still be considered a deprived area. But now it's seeing a lot of investment. With its close proximity to the city and the new Everton stadium planned to be built on the Bromley Moor docks. Then to the right of Bootle, you will find L5 Everton and L4 Anfield. Both areas are good for HMOs and buy-to-lets for young families and blue-collar professionals. They will produce great yields as property prices are still affordable. Some areas are not affected by the recent Article 4 that came into effect in June 2021, and there are opportunities to explore there. Everton and Anfield are famous for being the home of Liverpool and Everton football clubs, with both stadiums in close proximity to each other. In fact, there's a single road dividing the two stadiums. Since redevelopment of Anfield Stadium, the football club have pledged millions of pounds to invest in the area, and signs of this are starting to show up with property prices climbing. You will find a lot of investors are buying up properties in this area to use as service accommodation to accommodate the football fans who flock to the city on weekends. So I just need some water. So moving to the right of Everton and Anfield, you will find L6 Kensington, L7 Fairfield, and L8 Toxteth, and L15 Wavertree. These areas are saturated with HMO, with Kensington, Fairfield, and Toxteth on the city doorstep. And Wavertree with easy transport links and bustling Smithdown Road with its many amenities, attracting many students and young professionals. Stretching a bit further out of those areas, you'll find L9 Walton in the north and L13 Old Swan, Stonycroft, and Tuberg south of that. They are great areas for families, and property prices are still affordable for buy-to-let investment. Further south are the more affluent areas, L17 Egberth and L18 Moseley Hill, which are good areas for the HMO co-living spaces, attracting young professionals that don't mind spending a bit extra. Property prices are higher and can expect a better capital growth. Then L16 Chidwell and L25 Woolton are the more expensive areas of Liverpool, with many big high-value family homes. Property prices and rents tend to be higher, which will suit investors who want to buy for the long term. Then towards the airport, you'll find L19 Garston, which is where the property I present to you today. It has a mixture of affluent areas and still affordable areas, attracting a lot of the workers to live there, which makes it a great buy-to-let investment area. The area is considered to have a great potential to grow in the coming years. So the property. This is a 2-bedroom house in Liverpool in L19 area. And it's off market. I secured this property off market. It's exclusive and limited time before the vendor will put it on the market. I've negotiated a below market value of 110,000 with a market value of 120,000. Currently, this is a seller market in Liverpool and probably other parts of the UK, with many properties sell above the asking price in just a few days. For example, in my previous deal I sold, I went to see a property that just came on the market. The owner was asking for offer above 100,000, looking to achieve 115,000. With some report building and great negotiation, I managed to secure it for the investor for 108,000. The property in L19 currently has a tenant in situ on a rolling month contract. It is ready to go investment with no refurb needed and will produce income cash flow from day one. The current rent the tenant is paying is $550 per calendar month, which is 6% gross yield. I've been advised from the landlord that the tenant is aware of a possible rent increase of around £600, increasing the yield to 6.5%. The location of the property is ticking all the boxes in terms of fundamental, making it a great investment. Many big employers are nearby, with the likes of Jaguar and Rover car manufacturers, B&M, which is a distribution center for a national variety retail chain, all providing employment to the local economy. There's also a primary school nearby, and Liverpool Airport is 5 minutes away. Great for those who work at the airport and for those who travel to work by air. There are great rail links. Liverpool South Parkway Station is just around the corner from the property, with rail links to Manchester, Birmingham, Southport, and Chester. Shops and amenities are also nearby at the new Mersey Shopping Park that offers shopping with all the UK main brands like H&M, Boots, Currys, Argos, B&Q, and the likes, as well as cinemas and activities for family and children. The property is very attractive investment, in my opinion, offering an investment that generates cash flow from day one and below market value. Thanks for listening to me. That's all I've got, Bonnie.
Perfect. Thank you, Erin, for going through that. Can you actually flick through the pictures so that the investors, just so that we know, we have live with us, we have Michael Henderson, Nick Hume, and Walter van der Zaag. I do hope I've pronounced your name correctly. If you do have any questions with regards to Erin's deal, please do feel free to reach out. There's the chat box or the Q&A. Could you just flick through and just explain with regards to the refurb that needs to be done on this, Erin, with the quality of the product and anything that needs to be refurbed or any attention to detail that needs addressing?
So the property is ready to go. It might need just like a minor cosmetic, just touch-ups, but there's no major. The boiler is good working order. This is the family bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
All looking good. One of the rooms. This is the master bedroom. Downstairs, there's a lounge and a dining area. That's the tenant there in the background. The kitchen looks in good condition. The other angle.
And it's it looks like quite a large property as well, Erin. Is there anything potentially, not that you're advising the investors to do anything specifically, but is there an opportunity to create potentially more rooms, or because that looks like quite a large lounge that you have there?
Yeah, so I've seen investors do that before, where they maybe half the space of the kitchen, create a bathroom here, because it's quite common in Liverpool to have the bathroom downstairs.
Okay.
And then expand the kitchen to part of the dining room. So you'll walk through the kitchen to the bathroom. This is quite common. Or alternatively, I've done it in one of my properties where I just took a little bit of the space from the 2 bedrooms upstairs and put the bathroom in the middle. Right,
okay. So there's scope. Obviously, they'd have to look at the floor plans and see what they'd want to be able to do with that.
Yeah,
but
there is option there, and then the bathroom is quite a large size to create the additional 3rd bedroom.
Okay, perfect. And is it currently, because you mentioned it was off market, is it currently tenanted or is it available to buy? I'm just thinking if it was tenanted, does the tenant come with the property? Obviously, that makes it, decreases risk with regards to voids.
The discussion I had with the owner is that the tenant would like to stay, and she's also aware that a new owner might negotiate a rent increase. So it could generate cash flow from day one, with the potential to increase the rent with the tenant.
Okay, perfect. So there's already it's immediate cash flow.
Yes, and
Okay.
potential to increase the rent.
Brilliant. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much for the presentation. If you could kindly stop sharing your screen, we're going to go back. No questions come through yet. I think our investors are being a little bit shy here. So, but that's fine. Any questions that you have, feel free to ask along the way, and I will happily ask those on your behalf. We're going to go to and Erin, if anything pops up into my mind, I've already asked you what I could see as you were presenting, but if anything else pops into my mind, I will ask you as well. We're actually going to go over to Paul Adams from Crowd Property now. So as I've mentioned, Paul is from Crowd Property, and they're our UK leading specialist in lending, and they have a real focus on conversions and new builds. So the finance is really geared towards development and conversions. So Paul, if I'm able to hand over to you. You need to unmute yourself, please. We've all done it. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hi everybody. Paul Adams here from Crowd Property. I'm the Regional Business Development Manager for the London and the South. So it was just to give you, I know a lot of you are sort of buy-to-lets, and you haven't probably done ground up development, commercial to residential conversions, but that's what we specialise in. We do development finance for ground up for developers and builders. We'll do auction finance, so you can buy a property that's not mortgageable at auction with a view to refurbing that and then either going onto a mortgage loan after that. So it's basically a bridging loan to buy the property at auction because it's not mortgageable. And then once you've done the refurb, you can then either sell it and realise the obviously increase in value, or you can then remortgage onto a buy-to-let. So that's what we do first and foremost at the start of it. We'll enable you to buy it at auction. Typically, you'll need a 35% deposit of the asking price, and then there's no monthly payments. We just roll up the interest. There's no exit fee either. So there's no monthly payments basically with the bridging loan. But we also do, if you're looking to do office or commercial to residential conversions, we'll also do that as well. So if you're buying a property, say an office block, and you've got planning permission to convert to 20 residential units, we'll do that as well. And we'll also do development from sort of 2 or 3 houses up to a maximum of £5 million loan. So we can do multiple residential units. We don't do commercial development, but it's mainly residential we do. That's what we concentrate on. We've also allowed developers, if they finish their development, but they haven't sold all of the properties yet, and they need to pay back their original loan, development loan, we will do a development exit loan, which will allow them to pay back the loan and give them a bit more time to sell the remaining properties they haven't sold. So we are very competitive. I mean, the directors are all surveyors, and they're also developers themselves with a property portfolio. So we sort of try and get rid of all the red tape that a lot of the high street or the mainstream lenders will ask for. So we tend to be quicker, and we're also competitive on rate as well. And we'll always offer a great service. And come to the site or come to the project if you're stuck on anything. We'll always help you out to make sure that goes through successfully. So that's sort of Crowd Property in a nutshell. Apologies, I couldn't download any slides of laptop problems, but if there's any questions on anything we do, obviously, yeah, let us know.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Paul. I think we've all experienced a few tech issues today. I'm not sure what's going on with the planetary alignment. I'm sure there's something
working.
Yeah, indeed. So we have had Michael Henderson. There was somebody else joined us. I've lost it. We did have another investor join us, and he's dropped out. So I'm not sure if that's tech issues as well. with the internet. So if there was anything that you wish to ask Paul, I've dropped Paul's link into the chat box. Feel free to click on that or copy and paste it so that you can use it later. Please do get in touch with Paul. As he mentioned, they do the development finance, really focusing on residential, but bigger projects there with conversions as well as development. Paul, your sound was going in and out as well, so apologies for that, but I didn't want to interrupt you. You were in flow, we could hear you, but it faded and then came back. So again, with the investors, if there are any questions that you want to ask Paul, please do feel free to contact him via the platform.
Yeah, so I was just going to add to that, actually. We don't just look at the big projects. Our minimum loan is 100K. So if you've got a single property at auction that you want to sort of refurb and convert to a buy-to-let afterwards, we can look at that as well. So yeah, we don't just look at the big conversions. We'll look at smaller stuff as well. So if you're looking to, say, buy an HMO, whatever, you know, as long as the loan is 100K, we'll look at the smaller projects, of course, as well.
Okay, that's great. We have had, has Paul got an email address that he can share? We do really need to go through the platform, which is why we've shared the platform details there with you, Nick. Okay, I can send you the link, Nick. Have your email address, so I can send that on to you. I'll just write that down so I don't forget. Okay, perfect. So Nick, I've got that covered for you. Paul, I've got a couple of questions for you actually with regards to finance. Would you say there's an aspect that actually creates almost like a time delay? Is there like a common denominator that you've noticed that when, you know, whether it be the developer or the investor applies for finance, is there something that creates almost like a block or a challenge, and that if they had that sorted, it would make the process a lot smoother?
Yeah, I mean, typically what normally holds it up is how busy the valuers are and how busy or inefficient the solicitors are. So, you know, we can underwrite a deal and get it agreed within normally sort of 2 weeks. We'll have a full offer in principle. Well, we can get an offer in principle out in a couple of days. And if the developer or client wanted to proceed, we would then issue the valuation. And then the offer would normally come out within 2 to 3 weeks. And then it's all down to the solicitors then. So it is really, we're very sort of quick on our processes and our tech. But it is typically with any transaction, it's normally the solicitors and valuer availability that hold stuff up.
Okay, brilliant. That's good to know. So as long as they've got those components lined up, ready, prepped, it should make it a little bit smoother, so to speak.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
You've got a good solicitor you've used before. I mean, we would instruct a valuer that's on our panel. So unfortunately, we can't use any surveyor. They'd have to be on our approved panel. But in terms of the application process with us, if you found the property, you put an offer and it's been accepted, we can then issue terms, or we can issue terms before you've had the offer accepted, so you know, and that, you know, you've got an application in principle, and then we can move quite swiftly then to instruct valuers and get a quote out to you and take it from there. Normally, I'd allow typically 4 to 6 weeks from saying you want to go ahead to drawing down and completing with the solicitor.
Okay, that's good. That was my next question. So, okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that, Paul. I think we'll probably have more questions after Annetta and Charlie have presented, because I do know what they're looking to show. So without further ado, thank you for that, Paul. But I'm going to introduce now our other featured agents, who are Charlie and Annetta from One Step Ahead. Now, they operate in the northwest of England and have a real focus on Liverpool being a strong point for themselves. And they joined back in March 2020, and their average yields are typically 12.9%. So really 13%, 12.96%. They give a complete experience. So they also include refurbishments, and they have good connections with local lettings and agents there as well. And they're really fluent in buy-to-lets, HMOs, flips and developments. But they also look at commercial and mixed properties too. So
everything, yeah.
say that again.
bit of everything.
Bit of everything, but they're very, very good at what they do. So I'm just going to show you the quick bio of Charlie and Netta. So apologies while I just sort my tech out. I'm just going to do that now for everyone. Sorry, I was just quickly checking the box. So so I've got Nick's thing covered. So back to Charlie and Netta. Let me just share my screen and play their audio, their bio that you will have seen. Okay, bear with me.
Charlie and Anita had one goal in mind when they set up One Step Ahead Investments, to give you the experts on the ground that you can rely on with your property investments. One Step Ahead Investments is designed as a full end-to-end service from sourcing and renovating to managing and selling. To give you an idea of what they do, this is a fantastic HMO conversion project in Liverpool. They took an outdated student's HMO in one of the most popular student areas in Liverpool near the university. It was originally a 4-bedroom HMO with just 1 bathroom, but they saw the potential and it was converted into a beautiful, modern, all-in-suite 5-bed HMO. This project achieved a fantastic gross rental yield of 11%. Liverpool and the surrounding areas consistently deliver projects and yields in the excess of 10%. We could have the perfect investment property for your portfolio.
Okay, so let me just.
We need to update our picture. We need to update our pictures on the platform. It's very outdated.
It's interesting because you've been with us for so long. It's interesting, isn't it, looking back and seeing what you provided when you first joined. Okay, perfect. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Anita and Charlie to yourselves. I'm going to hand over to you both. Thank you.
Let me screen share for you, and thank you for introduction. Which one? This one. Okay. So I'll let Anita start.
So good afternoon, everyone, from Liverpool as well as Ian. Just technical issues, yeah. Cannot share.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can see your screen. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We are also based in Liverpool as Ian. We both come from the Czech Republic and both living here for over 7 years. I've been living in Liverpool for 2 years. I lived in London before, and Charlie himself, he's been here for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I lived in London as well.
He used to live in London as well. So to my background, I come from very different background. I come from financial background. I used to work in payroll and accounts. I also have a degree from hotel management, but this is been done very long time ago. So it's not accurate at the moment. And Charlie,
so I've basically started as a letting agent, in early 20s, because I always wanted to get into the sales. And then when I was 22 and a half, I've decided that I want to move to UK. In the beginning, it was quite difficult, when you come from different country and learning the language. So there wasn't plenty of opportunities, but in in about 5 years time, I finally get back to lettings. So here in Liverpool, I started as letting agent, and in about 18 months, I've become a branch manager. After my work in letting agency, I've decided that I would like to proceed with construction company. So I've started my construction company, and this is where we, came up with the idea to start sourcing. We had quite a few clients in a construction company, but in the same time we wanted to get our own clients, and this is the idea where we wanted to start sourcing. So so I approached Anita because I knew she was quite experienced with numbers, etc. And we had a long chat. I explained her what I do with construction company, how we do loads of conversions, and we just said, look, we're gonna start sourcing, get more clients in. So we don't, in a construction company, we don't have to look for clients all over the place, where we can, to take care of our own clients with the sourcing, renovations, etc.
So yeah, this
so
is how it all started with me. Charlie brought me into this business. So we help our investors to invest in Liverpool and surrounding areas. At the moment, I would say it's mainly Liverpool and Wirral, but we will get to this later on. We provide full hands-off service. Our job doesn't finish with sourcing the property. We help through the wholesale. We help to get a survey done, to get the financing done. Once the property is purchased, then our renovation company, OSAC Property Solution, comes to the place, and we take care of the whole refurb, no matter if it's extensive refurb or just a small refurb. Once the refurb is done, the cleaning company comes to the property, and then the property is handed over to the letting agent. This is where our job finishes with letting agent. We mostly specialize in Hmo conversions and strategies where we can add value to the property. So it could be beside the Hmo conversions, it could be flat conversions, it could be conversion from commercial to residential, which is very popular at the moment due to permitted development rights.
Yeah, or just a simple single-let where we can add a bedroom, do loft conversion, build small extension on the back of the house just to add some value to the property. Okay, next slide.
So why to invest in Liverpool? Aaron already mentioned many good things about Liverpool, but we both love
most of the things. He already mentioned most of the things. So there isn't many information which already hasn't been shared, which we can say. So we can quickly skip into the Hmo conversion, which we have in Walton. So Walton is in L4. It's still quite a good area. There is no Article 4, so it's easy to do conversion up to 6-bedroom house. You can see on the map, the location is, perfect to most of the profile of the tenants. If you are young, you got Walton Village Park, which is just above the property with a lot of options to exercise. There is straight buses into the city center. We've got local shops around. You can see Asda, and on the right hand side and in the left corner you can see Sainsbury. There's loads of small shops around as well. As Aaron mentioned, there is a Liverpool and Everton stadium which are within the walking distance. You can see Stanley Park and Garden. So Everton and Liverpool are across each other, across the park. The location itself is it's quite popular. There is loads of buses also into warehouses in the area where we have, for example, TJ Morris, which in the summer takes around 800 employees. So it's not just the city center, but there's also a lot of industrial in the area. Yeah, that's what I just mentioned. Yeah, there's loads of parks. There's a lifestyle leisure center within 5 minutes walk where I used to go as well. It has a pool, so if tenants like to swim or just be active, it's not just the park but also this leisure center. There's a Crosby Beach, 20 minutes drive, which is north of Liverpool. Okay, so this property it's a massive three-story property. At the minute, it's 4-bedroom house. If it's okay, we will show you a quick walkthrough video where I will be talking. Well, you will clearly see the condition of the property, and I will walk you through of what's the proposal work. Most of the times we are focusing on HMOs because this is where you can add a lot of value with extensions or loft conversions. Let me just jump on a video so I can show you quickly. So the condition of the property is not in the best state, which works very well for us because most of our HMOs goes back to brick. So we do full refurbishment, new central heating, new electric system. Most of the times we are dropping the ceiling in a first floor so we can allow extra space in loft, and we are adding bedroom in loft. Let me just quickly go through this property. So obviously we would replace any doors, front and back doors, and any windows which are not PVC. We would replace them for PVC doors. Everything what you're gonna see in the video will get removed. So every bedroom, living room or kitchen, they go through the same process, unless client requires something else. We'll remove existing flooring, we will remove existing joinery, scripting boards, architraves, any doors, and the door frames. We will remove existing plasterboard from walls and ceiling. Everything goes back to brick. This property is really, really massive, and we've secured it off market. So this is the first bedroom. You can see, as I mentioned, the condition is not the best, but it doesn't really mind for us.
Sorry to interrupt. We can't see the images that you're showing. I can still see your presentation.
Okay. Sorry.
You have to stop sharing and then
Okay.
share again. Yeah, just give us a second.
Absolutely, that's fine. Thank you so much. I didn't know actually if you were talking about something, and then when you said this is the bedroom, I was like, no, we can't see it. It's okay.
We can't see the bedroom. Sorry.
So,
all good. It's all good.
Technology.
yeah, sorry.
So can we double check now?
That's absolutely fine. That's what I love about lives. There is we can't hide behind anything. This is it's real. It's live and direct. Okay, perfect.
Second. All the technical issues today.
I'm telling you, there's so many tech issues today that we're having.
But yeah, so before we get this the screen sharing, on the ground floor we've got 2 receptions. Sorry, we got 3 reception rooms and a large kitchen. On the first floor we've got 3 rooms. Can you see the video now?
No, can't see the video. Did you click?
Get it. No, you're never gonna get it work.
No.
Okay, I can share the building code, and I can just walk you through.
Will it not be on the pictures on the platform, Charlie? With the...
Yeah, there's pictures, but obviously on the platform you can only attach a couple of pictures. I wanted to go through walkthrough video from the property, but if we can't get it work, we can't get it work. It's fine. I will show you the building
maybe
code.
Maybe now.
Can you see now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
so we are working the ground floor. As I mentioned, the front doors would get replaced for PVC. Everything would go back to brick. We would remove existing flooring. We would then, this would be a bedroom number 1. Later on, I will show you the proposed floor plan, but in the right-hand side corner, next to the chimney, this is where we would build ensuite, so bathroom for this bedroom. Like I said, new wiring, new radiator, new lights. You know, we usually provide 3 to 4 sockets, TV point in each room, either carpet or laminate on the floor, depending on client's needs or whatever they like, client's preferences. Sorry. Again, I'm entering second bedroom, so opposite of me there would be another ensuite bathroom. Again, we try to stick with options where we have all bedrooms ensuite, especially you know, during COVID, there was a huge demand for ensuite bedrooms because people in general don't want to share. So we've got, this is the second bedroom on the ground floor. It's a dining room which we would turn into bedroom number 2. You can see really high ceilings, you know, massive windows, a lot of daylight. Again, the condition is not the best, but we don't really care about existing condition at the minute because, as mentioned, the full renovation would go ahead with everything going back to brick. So this would be second ensuite bedroom. You can see really high ceilings. So we are entering the space underneath of the stairs, which sometimes we turn into toilet if client prefers. So this would become a living room. Again, you know, with TV point, really nice modern sofa, small table for 4, so people have place where they eat. This is kitchen. Again, you can see it's sorry, going back here. You can see it's interesting. Yeah, you can see the kitchen is quite large as well. So again, we would provide double sink, 2 ovens, hobs, and extractor fans as a requirement from HMO office when you're doing 6 bedrooms. So in the right hand side corner, there is a bathroom at the, sorry, there's a toilet at the minute. So we would keep the toilet there. Obviously, we would made much more modern. Just in a principle, where you have 6 rooms with 6 en suites. If any of the tenants, get a visitor, they don't have to enter the bedrooms. They can just use the WC downstairs. Hence we using it because this property is quite massive. We had an extra space, and if we have extra space, we tend to fill it with anything that can add a value. And adding WC on the ground floor will certainly help with adding the value. You can see the new PVC doors as well. We always check all the windows, make sure they are fully compliant, and if there is any window that needs change, we would change it. We are, we have quite attention to the detail. So let me go back, Ms. Anata. Let me go back to the first floor. Okay, so above these 3 steps, this is where we would build. This is where we would put the entrance doors. The wall, which you can see on the left-hand side, is this wall. This is just a partition wall, so it's just a timber plasterboard. So obviously, we would remove this wall to extend the size of the room. The room itself, including ensuite, is about 22 square meters, so it's a quite large property. And especially this bedroom, this is the second biggest bedroom in the property. So it is existing bathroom, but again, we would make this existing bathroom much smaller to have a larger bedroom. Again, this is bathroom window, so we would replace it for standard PVC window. So yeah, you can see it's a massive bedroom. And we got another bedroom, so this will be bedroom number 4. Again, same thing, everything back to brick. New ensuite on the left-hand side corner in here. You can see the existing carpet is already removed. You can see the back garden as well. Pretty much all the bedrooms have the same process. Demolition, build stage. Again, this is bedroom number 5. This is the 3rd biggest room in the property. Again, around 19 square meters, quite big, high ceilings. Yeah, on the right hand side, as I'm showing on the video, we would build a ensuite bedroom. Now we're going into loft. So this property already has a loft, which is fantastic, and the head height is great. So we don't really have to drop any ceiling in order to gain extra head height. In loft, there is the partition wall between 2 small rooms, as you can see now. There is a room on the right hand side and a room on the left hand side. So we would remove this partition wall to create one massive, almost like a studio flat with a small kitchenette. And yeah, this would be the biggest bedroom in a property. You can see most of the room, the head height is really good, so we don't really have to drop anything. Let me just go back. Yeah. So yeah, the loft is really massive. Now I will jump into, Anata will help me. I will jump into building quotation, where I will show you the stages and what we describe in the work. We tend to put every detail. Can you see it?
No,
Not yet.
Yeah, we put every detail, and everything what we do in a building quote, we'll put it there to make sure the client knows what he pays for. If there is anything we don't include in the building quote, it's also written there. So let's say the front and back PVC doors and the windows, once we start the work, we will provide extra price on them. So as I mentioned, every bedroom go through the same process. We start with demolition. So most of the rooms, even hallway landing, bedroom 1, bedroom 2, it always starts with demolition. So we'll remove existing flooring, skirting boards, architraves, walls and ceiling. On the ground floor, we tend to do dump course with 10 years guarantee, where we have a special engineer who will come to the property. They will do the dump course into the walls and timber, and we will get 10 years guarantee. Then after the build stage, for example, in bedroom 1, where we build the stud wall, after the build stage comes first fix. So first fix electric and plumbing. We always discuss with client how many sockets they want to have, if they want to include any sockets with USB, because it's quite modern, especially if you focus on the students. You know, they've got loads of laptops and other base, so they need more sockets and USBs. So after first fix electric and plumbing comes plasterboarding and insulation. So we put insulation in every new stud wall, plus we put insulation in between the floors and obviously in the loft. Before we start any work, we have a building control. I'm sure I've got it here. Let me just move it and back. Okay, so we work with building control. We will send them the email before the work start. They will notify the local council, and within 5 days, we'll get a green light to start. The building control will make sure that any construction work, insulation, you know, the waste pipes, the fireboarding or any boarding in general, everything is within the regulation. So they will come on initial visit when we start the work. Then they will come once again after the build stage. So if there is any steel going in, if we dropping the loft conversion, we always get calculation from structural engineer. Once we finish the build stage, we will have building control to come to the property and check that whatever we have done is within the regulations. So after the first fixes, which we have here, first fix electric and plumbing, obviously this is just it says as per client specification. So every client is different. Some clients just want, you know, standard 2 sockets. Some clients want 4 or 5 sockets. So the building code is it's not fixed. So whether the client wants to add something, remove something, we can work around. So after the first fixes, again, we have a building control coming to the property. They need to check all the wiring, the waste pipes, that there is enough slope from the toilets. They need to check all the cabling for fire regulation. So we do smoke alarms, fire alarm, etc. After the building control, we'll check the first fixing. We'll start with insulation. Again, as I mentioned, we put rock wool insulation into any new walls and ceilings. In the loft, we use Kingspan insulation. After the insulation, we will start with boarding and skimming. So obviously, again, we follow the regulations. If there is fireproof plasterboard which needs to be fitted in a hall or on a ceiling, that's what we do. We install moisture-proof plasterboards in a bathrooms just to make sure it doesn't go moldy. We tend to do floor-to-ceiling tiling, floor-to-ceiling tiles in ensuite, and we also tend to do floor tiling on the floor. Obviously, we follow all the fire regulations, so we install fire frame into the bedrooms and common areas. Bathrooms doesn't need, so there is just standard frame in the bathroom for ensuite. Once we're gonna start with second fix, we'll install FD30 fire doors. Obviously, we go back with architraves, skirting boards. Again, we send brochures to clients with every second fix. So anything that is visible for the tenant, doors, skirting boards, architraves, tiles, the paint, the sockets, locks, from every detail, we send the brochure to the client, and then it's client's decision on what he wants to install. The price is based on our brochures. If a client wants to, I don't know, if he likes, you know, more expensive kitchen, different tiles, different shape, then we can always calculate what was budgeted for our, you know, second fix, and we can provide different options. We don't really mind if client wants to buy their own kitchens. You know, some some clients are very specific what they want to get installed. And again, we tend to do built-in wardrobes because they, the condition of them will stay, they will stay in a good condition for much longer. But again, it's on client preference, what they like. Once we finish the second fix electrical plumbing, all the sockets, radiators, etc., in ensuite toilets, bathrooms, sinks, we get a carpet or, for example, this quote is a vinyl in a bathroom, but we can go for tiles, and we've got a modern carpet in a bedroom. But again, it could be laminated, it could be anything the client wants. This is the downstairs WC. So pretty much every bedroom goes through the same stages as I mentioned. Now I will show you with help of Aneta the proposed floor plan. So you've seen the existing video from the property. So we will show you what's the proposal. Go down.
My help all done.
Yeah. So ground floor. Again, this is the floor plan which I create based on a sizes from the property, but we always advise to get an architect from the client, especially if it's massive conversion. If it's something small, then I don't mind doing my input, but we always recommend to get a architect. So as mentioned, you got entrance hall, you got bedroom 1 with the ensuite. You got bedroom 2 with the ensuite. I've moved the existing wall is here. I've moved the wall further in to gain extra space to be able to fit the table with 4 chairs. So this is the living room. Again, this is just the basic layout. The client can move with any furniture in any position of the radiators. We tend to stick radiators underneath of the windows, but if client wants to put them anywhere else, that's no problem at all. We go into kitchen. So at the minute there is a wall like this. It's a partition wall. So we've removed the wall to create extra space. As I mentioned, we have 2 ovens with 2 hobs. We got double sink, and because this kitchen is quite large, we've got 2 fridges. We've got washer, dryer, and also a dishwasher. So we tend to, if there is a space, we really maximize what you can stick into the kitchen. As I mentioned, on the ground floor, there is WC. We go to first floor. This is the bedroom I mentioned. It is quite massive. I've put the bathroom on the end with a small kitchenette. Again, the kitchenette is an option. It's always on a local council or HMO office if they approve kitchens or not. Sometimes, well, it's not. It's a small kitchenette. We call it like a food storage, but sometimes they tend to put extra council on a small rooms like this because they just take it as a studio. Obviously, there is always a way around where we can send the document or the floor plan to local HMO, and then we can see what they say. And if clients would like to have these small kitchenettes, we can always update them in a way that council will agree on these. So as I mentioned, these 2 rooms downstairs and the middle bedroom, due to size, they are still quite good, but size-wise, but due to size, I haven't put any food storage. So you can see it has a double bed, desk with chair, built-in wardrobe, TV, and chest of drawer with side table. And obviously I've put some flowers, but that's just for the design. The larger bedrooms, they've got little kitchenette or a food storage. They also got small sofa, but again, this is just the illustration. The client can choose whatever design and whatever furniture he wants to put in. So bedroom 3 and bedroom 5 are very similar size-wise, just a different layout. And now we go into the loft. This is the biggest one, as I mentioned. So we've got again a little bit larger kitchenette, sofa, and standard furniture as we have in different other bedrooms. So this is the proposal. And again, we advise to get own architect for a client, and we also are pretty flexible with any changes. Now I'm going to show you another document. It's a payment plan. So as soon as we send a as soon as we send a quote, the client usually asks for a breakdown. Most of the clients is their first large investment, so they want to really know what they pay for. So I'm going to show you the breakdown. So our breakdown is divided onto material and labor. Material and labor is divided into stages. So we've got a demolition stage where we write down each material what we purchase, so skips, buckets, bin bags, etc. We'll put the amount of them, and then obviously we'll put the price to client. We go with the build stage. Again, this breakdown is based on different renovation. The reason I'm showing you this breakdown is just to understand what documents we tend to send the client, so they got full information. So each stage will write down. Obviously, I'm not writing down things like screws or masks. I just put other consumables. Otherwise, the list would go forever. There is so many little items which get forgotten when you're doing renovation. So we tend to stick with the most important parts of the material, and obviously we put other consumables for likes of gloves, masks, other small bits. So you can clearly see the stages. We've got demolition stage where we remove most of the things in the property. We put the skips there so we can safely remove it. Then we've got a build stage. At this particular renovation, there was some chimney. We were removing chimneys, so there was some chimney steels. There was some lintels. We were dropping the floor, so there was floor joists, floorboards, and there was quite a few stud partition which we have to build. When you go to first fixes, you get first fix and second fix of electric and plumbing. Again, depending on the amount of radiators, number of bathroom suites. You know, we've got a fixed price for a bathroom suite, so it all depends on the number of bathroom suites. Then you got the boarding stage. So after we finish demolition and finish the build stage with all the partitions and finish the first fix of electric and plumbing, where we install all the cables and piping, we start with the boarding stage. First of all, it's insulation. So Kingspan insulation is most of the time used in a loft, and then we got the rock wool insulation. Then you can see we got 3 different types of plasterboard. We got standard plasterboard, we got fireproof plasterboard, and moisture-proof. Standard plasterboard is usually on the walls. Fireproof plasterboard, depending on the council, is on the ceiling. And the moisture-proof plasterboard we stick in the bathrooms. Then obviously got plasterboard adhesive center. Then you get plastering stage. Again, just the basic materials what we use. Got tiling stage again. So we take extra care when we do tiling, because I know there was loads of clients that had issue with leaks. So we install extra insulation on the walls, hydro insulation, and we install Duramat on the floor to make sure there is no leakage whatsoever. Then we got joinery stage. Again, there is a fixed price for a fire door, fixed price for standard doors. So it all depends on the size of the property. If we have 10 doors or 5 doors, the price for each door is the same. It's just the amount. Obviously, kitchen. We tend to price for a height and kitchen, but if client wants something else, as I mentioned before, there's no problem at all. Then after joinery stage, when we get all the doors, architects, curtain boards, we come to painting stage, where again we don't mind any design from the client. We had a client who liked wallpaper, feature walls, dark ceilings, so there is no limit to design or imagination of the client. We can accommodate every need, hopefully. And then we get a flooring stage. Obviously, again, depending on the client, we usually in the bedrooms we go for carpet, and then laminate is usually just on the ground floor, hall, living room, kitchen. And then we've got others. So we got a structural engineer, we've got roof. Before any work starts, we send our roof team to check any leakage or anything, because the worst case is that you start the work inside and then there is a leakage, so the material get damaged. As I mentioned before, we do dump course just to make sure we get 10-year guarantee on the work, so which is fantastic for the client. And then it's a boiler. We use a local gas engineer, who will come to the property. They will see how many radiators is in the property, how many showers is fed from the boiler, and then they will provide us with the information for a client, what size of the boiler. Usually with 6-bedroom houses, we go for a 45 kilowatt, and we try to do a couple of electric showers just in case there would be any issue with the boiler. Then we go to labor. The labor stages are pretty much same. You got demolition stage, build stage, etc. And again, demolition and build stage, there is no fixed price per square meter because it's quite difficult to give the fixed price. But then from boarding, skimming, tiling, and joinery stage and decoration, everything is based on a square meterage. So, obviously the larger property is, the more you pay. So once we send the client this breakdown, we also have a payment plan terms. So once we agree the renovation cost, I will show you now with help of Aneta. We've got a payment plan example. So this payment plan, obviously, one sec. This one, yeah. So the payment plan is divided into the stages. We only require the payment once the stage is completed. There is always initial payment in the beginning. As we guarantee the end date of the renovation, we ask for initial payment to cover first 2 stages of the material. So you get demolition stage and building stage. The pure reason is when we finish the demolition stage, before we receive a payment for another stage, we don't want to be waiting around for the material. So we always tend to get the material before the stage starts to make sure that there is certain flow in a renovation. So again, this payment plan, there is no numbers. It just say the initial payment, what the initial payment covers. So it's for demolition material, other building material, and part of demolition labor, blah blah blah. And then each stage we put the amount and the date. Before we request the money, we will send walkthrough video. We will send the pictures of each stage completed. Once the client is satisfied, we require the payment. Obviously, if client has certain delays, it also delays the renovation. So we tend to do everything at least 7 days in advance to make sure that there is a great flow and there is no delays. Yeah. So as mentioned, loads of stages. Every payment terms has written what we're gonna complete. So boarding to be complete of all new walls and ceilings. So once we get it completed, we request the payment. The last payment, we tend to leave about 5 to 7.5% of the final payment. Once the property is completed, if the clients wish to send a third-party person or estate agent just to give them a insight, not just to listen to us, but the third-party opinion, we hand over the property for a furniture installation, and then we request last payment. There's always and obviously a snagging list. So when the property is finished, we go around and we make sure that if there is any little bit that needs to be completed, we complete. Obviously, all the dates are approximate and they will be confirmed. But there is also, now due to COVID and material delays, there is always a slight delay with material. But we tend to do everything in advance to make sure there is a certain flow of the renovation.
That's brilliant, guys. Thank you so much. And I know that apologies that took a little bit longer, but I think it's important that it was covered in such detail, because obviously if the investors go on board, I've shared your link to your platform as I did with Erin, and I've also shared links to both of your deals. And if the investors go and check out those deals, they can see that the renovation itself costs over £114,000. But I think that with you actually going through the level of detail that you did, it's understandable why, because you've been able to show the property in its current state, and then with your bio of the work that you've already done, and I'll be able to see from your other video that the level of work that you actually bring those properties to. So it's £114,000 just over for the renovation, but it's very extensive. And as Charlie just covered with regards to the phases, to help both parties feel really supported during this process, we have on the platform our own renovation escrow. So as Charlie was mentioning there, that photos are disclosed, the investor can check that, and then the money is released through the renovation escrow system. So once both parties are happy, the investor's happy with the level of work, and which is really described in our terms with regards to the renovation. So as Charlie has mentioned, it's very crystal clear direction on what each phase is, what's included in the phase, the time frame for that phase, and the money attached to it. And so with that, we think that on sourcing investments with the platform, that we've really looked after both parties with regards to that, so that there are horror stories out there where sourcing agents have been ripped off, they've done the renovation work and then they haven't gotten paid. And there's also stories whereby the investors have paid up front and the sourcing agents have run off with it. So with the renovation escrow service that we provide, it really looks at supporting both parties during this process. So I'm really glad that you covered that, Charlie. Thank you both for your presentation. That was really wonderful. Paul, I think this is where we're going to come to, because clearly from the state of the property, in its current stature, this is not mortgageable. So this is where Crowd Property could actually assist an investor to acquire the bridging finance. Is that correct?
Microphone.
You're on mute, by the way. You're on mute, Paul. Let me see if I can unmute you.
No, sorry, I'm here now.
Perfect.
Yeah, typically we can offer 70% of the purchase price day one. So you'd need a 30% deposit normally, possibly 35%. And we can fund the refurb cost. Normally it's like a heavy refurb. So if you need restructuring, if there's a building regs or planning involved, we can fund 100% of the refurb cost, up to a sort of up to 70% of the end value post refurb. But an investor would always need 30 to 35% deposit initially to buy the property in question. We charge obviously an interest rate per month, but that's not charged. You don't have to pay monthly. The interest payments are rolled up right up until the end, so you either sell or refinance onto a buy-to-let. So yeah, effectively we can help any investor buy an unmortgageable property as long as they've got a deposit of around sort of 30-35% normally. And we can also help with the refurb costs if required.
Sorry, I was muted myself. Yeah, that's really good to know. And I think, is there any tips that you could advise with regards to an investor, trying to assure that they've got that 30%? Is there anything that you could advise them to do in order to make sure that they're ready by the time they come to you? Because what I'm trying to eliminate is anything that could slow down the process. So as an example, if I was wanting to invest in this project or any other project where I'd need bridging, lending, is there something that I should do specifically if I've never done an investment in this type of project before? Is there something that I should look out for, something that I should be aware of? Do you have any tips with regards to that?
Well, just beware that there's a lot of people that say, they'll lend 100% of fund. You're really going to need a deposit, whether you save up or just wait for the right opportunity, but you're going to need sort of 30% minimum of the purchase price before. There are some lenders, we don't do it, that will lend on if you buy a property below market value, so you get a good deal on a property. There are lenders that will lend up to 70% of open market value. So if you're getting a good deal on it, say you buy it for 100 and it's worth 150, they'll lend up to 70% of the actual value, maximum 90% of the below market value price. So, but we don't do that. So, so basically, long story short, most lenders, including Crowd Property, for any refurb projects you want or any properties you want to buy at auction, I would advise having that 30% deposit funds ready. before you sort of start looking. You have to have some sort of deposit, and normally that's a minimum of 30%.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. And do you have any, I know that you had your camera off, but I know that you will have been listening. Do you have anything that the investors could maybe consider, you know, when approaching Aneta and Charlie on this deal? Because obviously you're more, I know that we've highlighted Erin's deal. Erin's deal is more a buy to let, no real refurbishment included here, other than, you know, minor maybe facelift opportunities. With Aneta and Charlie's deal here, is there anything that you could advise the investor with regards to the bridging on this particular deal?
Yeah, I mean, depending on the level of refurb that's required, if there's any sort of structural change where you're knocking walls down or you're adding, say, an extension, I think it's typically sort of, I think if it extends, I don't know the exact law, but if it extends a certain meterage outside of the original building, then you'll need building regs, you'll need planning permission. And that's always a slightly higher rate of borrowing if it is a structural heavy refurb project. If it's light refurb and it's all cosmetic, so like new kitchens, bathrooms, painting, all that sort of stuff, but no structural change, then that is more straightforward. You don't obviously need planning, and the rates are cheaper as well. So it all depends on the project. I guess with this one, actually my internet went down. My camera kept. That's why I thought it was so slow. I had to come off it. But yeah, it depends on the actual project itself. If it's like refurb, it's a lot. It is more. It's cheaper to finance, basically.
Because there's and just for the investors present on the attendees at the moment, and that's because of the less risk involved. That it would be cheaper?
I mean, we price based on, obviously every lender price based on risk. So when it is just a light sort of refurb project, there's less that can go wrong. I mean, we're not talking a great deal of difference in rate, probably 0.2, 0.3% per month. But yeah, lenders always price to risk, and same with ourselves as well. But we'll take on any sort of refurb project, whether it's light, medium, or heavy refurb, and structural changes, and anything like that. We'll also, we'll do the new build as well. But obviously on this particular project, it would be sort of refurb bridging finance you'd need, and it all depends on the level of work needs doing.
Perfect. And am I right to, because I've never invested in a project that like what Aneta and Charlie, I would love to. I haven't got there yet. So
call me.
So with regards to, as an investor that would be new to something like this, are my two main factors really then the level of risk, so i.e. the extent of the renovation and what's involved, and then the time involved? Are those the two main factors that come into really what kind of bridging loan I'm looking at?
Yeah, I mean, typically, because it's a buy-to-let property, it wouldn't be a regulated loan. So, depending on the size of the project and how much you're going to want to spend and how much refurb work you're doing, you can get a term of 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. So it's a lot more flexible for buy-to-let refurb. It's not you're not going to live in the property.
Do you also look at the clients and see if they are experienced investors? So, for example, if someone is absolutely new to investment and he wants to go for a large development like this?
Yeah, I mean, we will consider first timers as long as they've got a experienced refurb team behind them that maybe have done stuff before. I mean, we're sort of quite a bespoke lender, so we'll look at every project individually. So there's no sort of yes or no. Computer says no. We'll look at everyone and judge it on each individual project's merits. So yeah, we do look at first time or inexperienced.
So if the client is part of the experienced team, that there should be no issue.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, good to know. So you really do look at each aspect or each application, should I say, from a really bespoke level, rather than just bog standard.
Yeah. Perfect. So not a sort of computer says no lender. We very much underwrite every deal individually when it comes in.
Brilliant. That's really good to know. Thank you so much for that, Paul. Really, really do appreciate that. Erin, have you got anything that you'd like to share? Because we're coming to the point where we're going to come to close. Investors, I'm surprised you've not had any questions today. These were both really juicy deals that were going on today, especially with the yields that they generate. 10% plus. So if you do have any questions but you haven't been able to post anything, I am aware that we're having tech issues, so I'm not sure if you've tried, and if you have and I can't see them, apologies for that. If you have, please feel free to email your questions in at admin@sourcinginvestments.co.uk. Erin, is there anything that you would like to add to anything from today's presentation, whether it be yourselves, Anita's and Charlie's, or Paul's?
No, I just want to remind the people who see that the deal that I presented is exclusive to be off market for probably the next couple of days or so. So after that, it probably will go on the market.
Yeah, and I think that's really important that Erin's mentioned that. So Erin's managed to secure this deal with exclusivity for the next 48 hours. So that's exclusive to these attendees that are live on the call, and then any investor watching afterwards, it will be 48 hours from today. So if you do want to contact Erin, please do so. After that, it will be going live onto the rest of the market. So he has secured independent exclusivity there. So that's really important. Anita, thank you for that, Erin. Anita and Charlie, is there anything else that you would like to add with regards to today?
Our deal is off market as well.
Their deal is off market as well. Okay.
Yeah, I would like
perfect.
to say that it's an amazing HMO investment opportunity. It's in a great idea. It's in a great area. All details are on our website or on the platform. Investors can ask anything. We can provide anytime.
We don't sleep.
Actually, that's true. That's true, because most of our clients, they are overseas, so we really have to work till late. So any questions? I know it's quite big investment. It needs excessive refurb. We would go back to bricks anyway. But houses like this, such a big houses, it's not you can't find them every day. So really, if somebody is going to for HMO conversions, this is something to consider.
Definitely. And as you've already mentioned, it's an extensive refurbishment, and it's going to take approximately, I think, 14 weeks, I think it is, on the site.
Let's say from the day one, from the first hammer on the side.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot, and as they can see from the video, there'll be a lot of hammering and a lot of work involved. So that will take it's not an overnight job. So there will be 14 weeks with regards to that. And then, Paul, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, just to say, any investors out there, if you are looking to do your first refurb, or if you're an experienced developer and you need any advice on any new schemes that you're looking to do, obviously the link you're going to share, they can get in touch with you via email anytime.
Yeah, perfect. And just to let you know, let you all know, presenters and attendees, I have shared the links to the platform, which covers Crowd Property, One Step Ahead, and Spaces by Hexagon. So if you do wish to contact them, the links are there. If you haven't managed to copy and paste those links into a document or an email already, feel free to contact me at Sourcing Investments. That's bonnie@sourcinginvestments.co.uk, or alternatively, contact admin@sourcinginvestments.co.uk. With that, I would like to thank you all for attending. So first of all, thank you to our investors who are here live. That's Michael, Nick and Walter. Thank you so much for attending. And also to anyone who is watching our replay, thank you so much. Again, any questions, please forward those on to admin@. And I'd like to finally thank Paul from Crowd Property, Anita and Charlie from One Step Ahead, and Erin from Spaces at Hexagon. Thank you all so much for your time. Very, very appreciative of that. And I look forward to hearing about your success moving forward. Take care, everyone.
Thanks very much, Bonnie.
Thank you. Bye now.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.